Old Katy Perry, Nikki Sixx with his gun.
Was that you? Did you put this on him?
Yeah, you know. Fuel, Taryn Manning, and a wolf. And that wolf was really scary. If he like jumped up, he was taller than me.
What is up, Merce Nation? Javier Mercedes here for a quick video with Amber Griffin. She's a professional makeup artist who has spent the bulk of her career working in Hollywood with some major celebrities. And this video is a continuation of a podcast that I did with her. And after we had our whole conversation, she was gracious enough to show me some of her past work and tell me some of the awesome behind the scenes stories working with some really cool people. If you're new here, my name's Javier Mercedes and I'm looking to make online video my full-time job. So I've been documenting that journey, and if you're into that kind of thing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, notifications, all the things that you hear on YouTube. Go ahead and do those things. I'm just gonna keep that part in because intros are hard to do. YouTube life. Let's get to the video. All right, so we just got done with the podcast. Now she's showing me some of her work.
Yeah, this one is from Mick Rock, amazing photographer. This is Tommy Lee.
That's awesome.
Entertainment Weekly. I did a photo in here for Breaking Bad.
I remember seeing on your IG your photos with him.
I shot with him. This is the record for Saints of Los Angeles. So these are girls that I body painted silver. This one was really fun because for this tour, Tommy's drum had this cross, the Silver Girls cross on it. Oh yeah, this reminds me. So Drop Stars, this was like this car. It was all about cars. And a lot of my early airbrushing, how I would learn, because it was so new, I would watch the guys that detailed the cars. And, you know, like, not detailed, but like drew, like painted the sides of the cars, because they used airbrush and they did all the different types of layering and everything. So I actually learned airbrush by watching those guys.
Would you say that when you started out, were you doing a lot of outreach, or was all of the gigs you were getting from, you were first an apprentice, then you moved on to other people that you were working with?
It was a bit of both. Like, I would always do outreach, always. Especially at the beginning, you have to do cold calls, and that's so against my nature. But I would just cold call different production companies, and then finally I got introduced to Paul Brown, the photographer. They bring you on their sets, and then that's how I met Motley Crue, and then they start requesting me for everything that they do, and then that's how I met Linkin Park, and then they start requesting you, Godsmack, Slash. After a while, you just kind of get this momentum happening, and you start learning who the PR people are, who the people in the record label are that hire you, and they hire you for their other bands. So you do a lot of really hard work, but that's fine because you're still not good yet. You still need to kind of hone your skills and like be on set, and you're still learning too. And so you do a lot of free work, you do a lot of low budget, hard work. I mean, it's all hard work. Like, this is some of my old, like when I first started doing makeup. You see like the quality?
Yeah. I love how where the sun is at in that picture.
Oh yeah, totally, right? This was actually like one of the bigger photo shoots I did. It was with Davis Factor, he photographs models. This was one of those other moments where I thought, okay, I'm there. These are all real models. Daisy Fuentes.
The modern dog.
Yeah, modern dog. This was for Mead, for back to school.
I love that part about the production industry, because you never think about the people that are behind the scenes of like all of the ads that you see, and like somebody had to do that.
Somebody did it.
Yeah.
Somebody thought that up. This is OTEP. This is one of the first metal aggressive bands that I worked with, and she's really an incredible singer. And so Paul Brown, the photographer I was talking about, he had me over to a studio in her, and I just came up with this, like on the spot, just kind of came up with this look. Slash.
Seems like a lot of rockers.
Yeah. This is like old. Scott Baio, Mario Lopez.
Young Mario Lopez.
Yes, young Mario. This is kind of the process of when I would do body painting or some more of the creative jobs I was hired to do. So I draw it out first, and like this is kind of what it ended up as there, and just hand painted. And this was for a gallery show.
That's cool.
These were the ballerinas that I was talking about. This is actually hanging down there in the stairwell. This was also...
Totally looks like a statue.
Yeah. I've never felt so out of shape in my life standing next to these ballerinas. They're like the most incredible, like they can do anything. So this was one of my favorites here. So we went to the forest that had burned. I was really inspired by kind of like the regrowth, because everything was still black and charred, and there was these tiny little leaves kind of coming through, and like the regrowth of something so horrible. You know, I did her clay, and not, you know, it's more of like leafy, just kind of charred, and she's kind of coming out, and she's like the spirit, she's like still alive, and although everything is burned, there's still life there. I would just make a lot of designs and a lot of just drawings.
Is that again? That was like your proof? And
yeah,
then,
this is kind of concept. There's a lot of concepts underneath, but you know, just drawings. It comes from drawings. And then you have to try it out. Thank you. So a lot comes from paintings. This one I shot with food photographers. They do all the stuff for like, you know, like Dairy Queen, or like the food photographers, and have come in and have a stylist, and it's not really ice cream, it's like butter. So they had all this access to all this cool food. So
that's awesome.
That's what we did. So, and then a lot of just face charts. A lot of face charts.
Didn't even know that was a thing.
Because somebody will say, well, I want natural. Well, what does natural mean? You know, I had that, like, is that natural pink or is that natural brown? I had someone come up to me and say, make me look natural like Kim Kardashian. And I was like...
So make you look like Kim Kardashian?
Yeah, I was like, well, that's not exactly natural, but I can do somewhat.
That's crazy.
Know, like, yeah. Anyway, this is kind of how it all starts, and so I do a lot of face charts, especially if I'm just trying to generate ideas or get the flow happening. I'll just do different face charts of different ideas, and then later, if I have a job drop into my lap and I'm like, oh, I don't really know of a starting point, then I have a lot of references that I can kind of go back to.
Well, thank you. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Amber Griffin Makeup.
Like and subscribe. Or don't, but you probably should.